Welcome to the final episode in CMC's Salon series. Today we're coming from CMC and I'm delighted to welcome soprano Elizabeth Hilliard in person to CMC's library. Liz, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So you are singing a programme of 4 works today. Tell me about these pieces and how you selected them for the Salon.
So I had a number of concerts. Obviously, like so many musicians, I had concerts cancelled at the beginning of lockdown. And I was very aware, one piece by Ian Wilson, When I Lay My Hand. This piece, I'd been trying to do it for a long time, and its premiere was the first concert I had cancelled. So I wanted to do that. But as well as that, I was also in the same concert, was going to sing Jenny Walsh's works, the new Folksong collection. David, I was going to be doing with Dublin Jazz Co-op. I was going to be doing, I think that was 2 weeks into lockdown. That concert was cancelled. I was doing The Bright Kids, and Gráinne Mulvey and myself were working with Great Music in Irish Houses. We were so happy that they had commissioned Gráinne for their 50th anniversary to write a new piece for me. So I wanted to bring Gráinne's music into this programme as well.
Great. So first up in this programme is Jennifer Walsh's Folk Songs, and we're going to hear this now. And after this, we'll be talking to Jennifer through Zoom about the piece.
Cheese makes you go blind. Cheese makes you go blind. Doing the business, I can't imagine. I can't imagine doing the business with him, letting him stick it into my body. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Elegant. Oh yes, I like that bit. I think that bit's elegant. Food court. I wanna go to the food court. You gotta take me to the food court. Oh, I wanna go to the food court. You gotta take me to the food court. Oh. Free to live my life. Free to live my life. Like the meaning of tomorrow is here. Hot dude. Hot dude, possibly gay. Hot dude living in the world today. Her teeth. It's like she's posing dun 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 in an infomercial dun 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 dun. Her teeth are sparkly and shiny and happy. I had a dream. I had a dream that the doctors took all my cash. I had a dream that the internet was on fire. I want to move into my life. I want to move into my life, making new moments. Immigration. It's really great to talk about immigration. It's really great to talk about immigration. Infomercial posture. Infomercial posture, infomercial teeth. Infomercial posture, infomercial teeth. Marching through the wilderness. Marching through the wilderness, eating trees, drinking blood. Nice. To be a nice guy. It's nice to be a nice guy. It's nice to be a nice guy. It's nice to be a nice guy. It's nice. No bra. No bra. No bra. She's wearing no bra. None on the flight. None on the flight, there was a none on the flight. Out of Knock, out of Galway, out of Dublin, and none on the flight. Oh, she was doing it right. Salvation, special offer. Salvation, salvation through Christ's special offer. Salvation, salvation through Christ's special offer. Single people. Single people hooking up when they visit up another. Single people hooking up when they visit up another. Take me home, hipster. Take me home and comfort me. Hold me in your skinny arms. They drowned him in the ocean. They drowned him in the ocean and they drowned him in the bogs. They drowned him in the river, left him lying up above. Throwing stuff out. I want to start throwing stuff out. You know, I want to start throwing stuff out. I want to start throwing stuff out. You know, I want to start throwing stuff out. To kick him. I want to kick him in the balls. I want to kick him in the balls. Touched by war. So exciting. Touched by war, it was so exciting. Welcome into my world. Welcome into my world. Welcome into my world. Oh, it's shiny and new, built just for me and you. Well, it's hard. Well, it's hard to find your car keys when you're pissed out of your mind. White guy. He's a white guy, he's a white guy, where's Lynx Africa? $27. It's the age when Jimi Hendrix died. 27, it's the last age when Tinder Plus is cheap.
That was Jennifer Walsh's folk songs performed by our guest in this salon, Elizabeth Hilliard. And myself and Liz are joined now by Jennifer Walsh. Jenny, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. How are you all doing?
We're good, we're good. Tell me about the piece that we've just heard, folk songs.
Well, I wrote 2 batches of these folk songs. I wrote the first batch in 2011. They were part of a project by Olaf Nicolai called the Escalier du Chant, which was a project where he commissioned lots of different composers, including myself, James Saunders, Elliot Sharp, Tony Conrad, and we all wrote pieces relating to sort of our experiences of 2011. And then Liz asked me to write a second batch of them when Liz staged this Inappropriate Moments Festival, which was ensemble and lots of other people, all conducted by Liz, performing different vocal works that I'd written. So I was really, really happy to be able to extend this suite of folk songs for this.
So you wrote this piece, and initially, you know, since then there's been a number of singers who've since performed it. Do you enjoy hearing what comes back to you from these by way of different interpretations and different takes on it?
Of course, that's the whole point for me. I spent quite a few years when I was a doctoral student. I had to teach ear training, and we had this, you know, spiral-bound book of folk songs that students had to, you know, sing in solfege. And the book was full of melodies, but with no dynamic markings, you know, everything in the treble clef, just a lot of folk songs in there, as well as classical melodies. And so I like this idea that you just get something and something that's notated in a very simple fashion, and the performer has to bring their own experience to it, and they have to bring their own methods of interpreting it.
And have you been involved in any online performance during this COVID period, as we now collectively are calling it?
Well, I have to say the first performance that I did was an extension of a project that already existed with the Japanese singer and composer Tomomi Adachi. He's a longtime collaborator of mine, and we've done a telepathic improvisation project called PUTIF, the People's United Telepathic Improvisation Front. And so Tomomi and I did a PUTIF performance, which seemed really normal and didn't involve live streaming. So it was awesome from that respect, in that we didn't have to deal with tech. 2 weeks ago, or almost, about 10 days ago, I did a live stream performance as part of this digital masterclass for National Sawdust in New York. But the rest of lockdown, I have to say, I've sort of resisted it. And when people ask me to do live stream performances, I was more inclined to say, I'll make you a radio show or I'll write a text, because I just was very sick of Zoom and was finding Zoom difficult, and it was just sort of getting to me. So, but now I realize that this is part of the future, and I'm much more interested in learning about it. And for Ars Electronica, myself and Wobbly, John Lydecker, the musician, are going to do a sort of a 6-part opera performance, all live stream. And I have to say, I love the format that you guys have come up with here at CMC, with the idea that there's some chat in between the pieces and they're sort of introduced, and that feels more vibrant than just a straightforward live stream. So I'm excited to see what people like yourself are coming up with as solutions.
That's good to hear. Well, it's not without its few technical challenges, as I'm sure you can imagine. Jenny, thanks so much for making the time today to talk to us.
Oh, I should say one thing. I should have given a plug. I'm really excited that Liz is performing my music today, because I consider Liz sort of an authority on my vocal music and one of the best possible interpreters that I could ask for of my music. And I'm super excited because Liz will be performing in a new piece that I'm working on at the moment called Ireland, a Data Set, in the National Concert Hall on September 26th. And that whole performance will be live streamed without an audience. No, I'm really excited to work with Liz on that project, and it's really nice to think of a project happening at home in Ireland, and also this sort of feeling of moving towards this new way of working together, a new way of planning what projects can be and how they're performed.
Well, we look forward to that. Thanks so much, Jenny. So we move on now to David Bremner's piece, The Bright Kids, and this was written for you 10 years ago. Has the piece or your performance of it changed since the first performance?
I worked for the first performance with Andrea Scott, theatre director, and we kind of collaborated to make a version of it. And I've performed that version a few times. Since then, we've had kind of thoughts about the length and different parts of the text, and David's actually changed the format of it, and as well, this is quite a small space. So I've devised, with the ideas that myself and Andrea had, I've devised a new version which we're going to see today.
Well, let's see and hear this piece now, along with an introduction from the composer David Bremner.
The Bright Kids is a logic ballad, which is a genre where a story is told entirely via permutational patterns. In this story, the character is a schoolteacher. It's a monodrama, but there isn't really a libretto. Because of the way it's composed, the text is created sort of alongside the music. So there's a limited pool of material used in this piece. That's both pitches and text. And the monologue works as a stylized thought process, with the permutations acting as one thought leading to the next. This tends to mean that the implication of the gaps and the relationships between the items of text become more noticeable. Also, it means that the listener is kind of creating the story themselves out of very little information given. I think of this as sort of being a bit like a cellular automata, like John Conway's Game of Life, where a small arrangement of cells acting according to strict rules can still generate these really elaborate and unpredictable structures. I was very interested in creating a setup that allows the minutest harmonic change to be dramatic, rather than sweeping gestures being necessary to create a small movement from one harmonic world to another. So I've enjoyed working with this type of minimal language that permits that. Hope you enjoyed the piece.
Kids, just that once. It's just that once. You know that. When you say that could be you. Keys. Walsh. Sense of humour. You know that once. You know. You know that. It's a standard feature. Keys. Walsh. Sense of humour. When you say that could be you. It's a standard feature. They know they saw you. When you say that could be you. You know that. When you say that could be you. Because they know they saw you. It's a standard feature. But you know when herring. It's a standard feature. It seems fast. It seems. 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 It se across the hotel lobby. If that's what it is, why? The main thing is you were there. Why? You get what you came for, if that's what it is, across the hotel lobby. If that's what it is, oh, tell it all, that's all it is. Why? Oh, today. Why? If that's what it is.
David Bremner's The Bright Kids, performed by Elizabeth Hilliard. Next, it's a world premiere of a piece, Where I Lay My Hand, specially written for you, Liz, by Ian Wilson. Tell me, first of all, how this work came about.
I had, for a number of years ago, asked Ian, would he write a piece in his, I think, Shadow series. I'd seen Malachi Robinson perform his piece, which was for double bass, where the first half of the piece was recorded and then played back in the second half. And I saw that, oh God, it was in the Chocolate Bar, which is closed now, up Harcourt Street. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I saw it again in the Hugh Lane Gallery, and I was like, I really want to have a piece like this. So I asked Ian, I can't remember how long ago it was, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And we kind of had conversations about it. And anyway, he contacted me about 2 years ago, and he said, let's make this happen. So here we have a piece.
And through the miracle of technology, the wonders of technology, we're delighted to be joined by Zoom by our second guest composer, Ian Wilson himself. Hello, Ian.
Hi guys, how are you?
So Ian, the text for this piece is by the poet Tony Curtis. How did you go about selecting this particular text?
I've known Tony for nearly 20 years now, and he's the poet whose work I've said a number of times. There's something really beautiful about his work. It has a surface simplicity which disguises any number of profound thoughts, and that's a really interesting combination for me. And when Liz and I were talking about the kind of text which would need to be found for a work like this, I just started rummaging through the works of Tony's that I have, and amazingly he'd slipped me a one-page poem which had been specially printed for a festival or something like that, and it just happened to fall out when I was flicking through one of his books, and it turned out to be the perfect poem because, as Liz described, the piece or these shadow pieces that I've written now and again over the years, the idea is that the first half is recorded as it's performed, and then that recording is immediately played back so that the performer can present new material on top of that. So I was wondering how that would work with the text, and it just so happens that Tony's poem, When I Lay My Hand, it's set out in such a way that the first of every 2 lines actually makes sense on its own. So for instance, if I can read you the first few lines, so the whole poem starts like this: when I lay my hand flat on the wooden table, I think of water against the side of a boat, of earth folded around the coffin, of the axe's cold blade cleaving the grain, of the bird's claws on the branch. But if you take the first of every pair of lines, you get, when I lay my hand flat, I think of water, of earth, of the axe's cold blade, of the bird's claws. And so I couldn't believe my luck, frankly, to find the poem structured that way, and the next two verses work in a similarly fantastic way. So basically what Liz does in the song is she sings the first of every two lines for the first half of the piece, and then when the second half comes around, she sings the other line. And when she's not singing texts, she's vocalizing harmony, which will then kind of activate in the second half. So it sounds more complicated than it really is, but you hear it nicely.
So let's hear this piece now. Ian Wilson's When I Lay My Hand, performed for the first time ever in CMC Salon by Elizabeth Hilliard.
Each by the soul. by the soul, back up into the trees, back up into
Elizabeth Hilliard performing Ian Wilson's When I Lay My Hand. Liz, the final piece on the programme is one that you've performed many times, Gráinne Mulvey's The Seafarer, and the text is quite relevant, isn't it, to the times we're currently living through?
Yes, The Seafarer, it's an Old English text. It's 124 lines long, and it's all about mourning and a sense of loss and like this, being alone and life going on and all these different aspects of life that is so relevant, I think, to what we're going through at the moment. And one of the things, the end of this piece, it finishes with the sea, and I've yet to get as far as the sea, so I haven't seen the sea since March, and I normally would be either in Blackrock or Dunleary once or twice a week, so it's a big thing.
I can't imagine not living near the sea, because I live near the sea myself. So we're going to finish now with this piece, along with an introduction to the piece which Gráinne has very kindly sent. But before we see this, I'd like to thank you, Liz, for your wonderful performances today in CMC, and to all the composers for their contributions, both video contributions and also live. We hope to be back again in the autumn with more salon performances. Until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.
This work has its origins in a very unusual and moving request. In 2011, a friend of mine, the Middle English scholar Una O'Farrell Tate, who was terminally ill, asked me to write a piece on this text to be played at her funeral. Sadly, Una died before the piece was complete, so the premiere was given in her memory at the 2012 Bale Festival by the wonderful soprano Elizabeth Hilliard. Seafarer is an Old English poem recorded in the 10th century Exeter book, one of only 4 remaining manuscripts of Old English poetry. It is a sorrowful, elegiac work, mourning a loss. This setting for soprano and tape primarily uses vocal samples to evoke the atmosphere of the sea and feelings of mourning and hope. The piece is dedicated to Una's memory. I'd like to thank Elizabeth Hilliard for performing this again, and I'd like to thank the CMC for hosting it in its Salon series.
Make a true song about me. My Wretched and sorrowful on the ice cold sea, wretched and sorrowful on the ice cold sea, ice cold sea. Heart icicles, sea. Icicles, icicles, sea, icicles, icicles, hail, icicles, icicles, hail, cold.